So a little bit of a departure from what we normally do, going completely off Beowulf, although there is a connection between what I'm about to talk about and Beowulf because of this book right here, this lovely book right here that's covered by my whiskey bottle mic stand. So I'm just going to bring this up, show you what we're going to be talking about today. The Dragon and the Gold of the Doom of Men, why the Völsunga Saga still matters. There is a particular kind of silence that falls over a room when a story is told properly. It isn't the silence of politeness, it is the silence of dread. You can find it in the best ghost stories, and you can find it undeniably in the Völsunga Saga. So that's what we're going to talk about today, the Völsunga Saga. We like to think we invented the anti-hero, the tragic dynasty, and the grim dark fantasy where everyone dies in a pool of their own blood. We didn't. The Icelanders beat us to it by 700 years, and frankly, they did better. While we busy ourselves with sanitized fairy tales and overproduced CGI blockbusters, the Völsunga Saga sits there like a jagged rock in the stream, ancient, unmovable, and sharp enough to cut you if you handle it incorrectly. The great-grandfather of the northern literature. Without it, there would be no... Again, I get stuck on this fucking word. Nibelungenlied. I should have practiced that word first. Anyway, I didn't, so here we are. Wagnerian opera. If you know the opera, I'll play the music now. If it's not copyright protected, it shouldn't be. It's old enough. And certainly no Tolkien. That connection. It is a story of Sigurd the Dragon Slayer, the Cursed Ring, and the family tree so tangled with incest, betrayal, and divine meddling that it makes the House of Atreus look like the Brady Bunch. House of Atreus, I believe, is Greek. Of course, Sigurd the Dragon Slayer, a dragon lying on a bed of gold, a hoard of gold. The Cursed Ring, yes, there is a ring and it's cursed. There's also a broken sword that gets reforged in this as well. But maybe we'll get to that later. But let me just bring these up first, though. So if you want to read the Völsunga Saga, let me just get rid of this because it's unnecessary. This is the Penguin Classics. What's her name? Her name is Jessie L. Brooke. She did the translation of this. There's her name on the back there. See, because it's not very big. It's 100 pages. Just over 100 pages. It's pretty simple to read. This version, translation, I haven't read yet. It's the one by Jackson Crawford, another YouTuber. I like his work. I like what he does. But this one also carries the Ragnar Lothbrok. If it just focuses on that line right there. So this is the saga of Ragnar Lothbrok. If you're interested in the whole Ragnar Lothbrok thing, get his second edition by Jackson Crawford of the Poetic Edda, because that also has Ragnar's death song. Vikings love little death songs, although that death song, I think, was written by Alslang, his wife. It's like third wife. And if you want to learn more about Ragnar Lothbrok, then get yourself a copy of Saxica Grammaticus and read Book 9, which I have obviously prepared myself for. Book 9, don't really see much going on there. But Book 9 is pretty much all about Ragnar Lothbrok. And they spell his name wrong. But then again, it was translated from Latin, so what do you expect? But the book that really connects all of this and the Völsunga Saga to Tolkien and Lord of the Rings is this one. Now, this is a book. It's called The Story of the Völsungs and the Nibelungs. Let me just show you the title page on the inside, because I need to be quite careful with this, because there it is. Translated by Eric Magnusson and William Morris. William Morris did the artwork on and all this. Only 750 copies of this book were made, and this book came out in 1870. So this is, 145 years old now. 155 years old now. And this is almost certainly a book that Tolkien would have had, and he would have read this, and he would have learned about shapeshifters who could turn into a dragon, and hoard of gold, dragon slaying, cursed rings, broken swords being reforged. There's even a kind of Arthurian thing. The sword that gets broken was originally thrust into a tree, and person who could take it out of the tree got to keep it. I mean, it's not a rock, but it's kind of the same. A divine sword. But highly recommend, yes, The Blood of Odin. Saga doesn't just start with a hero. It starts with the breeding program. The Volsungs are not normal men. They are descended from Odin. Let me just bring this up so you can actually get over there so you can see what I'm reading. I'm trying to get the cursor into the second monitor, but it just doesn't like it. Oh dear, the Volsungas is a breeding program. The Volsungas are not normal men. They are descended from Odin, bred for war and touched by a kind of terrible glamour. They are the sort of people who build a great hall around a living oak tree, the Brandstock, just so they have somewhere impressive to hang their swords. That's this tree that Odin thrusts the sword into. And whoever can take it out gets to keep it. Early chapters read like a fever dream of violence. That's a great sentence. We have King Völsung, who is betrayed by his son-in-law and left to be eaten by a she-wolf. We have his daughter, Sigurd, a woman of such terrifying resolve that she sleeps with her own brother, Sigmund, just to produce a child of pure-blooded enough to exact revenge. I mean, these people have nothing but time on their hands, I guess. This is not the chivalry of the High Middle Ages. There are no knights in shining armour here, rescuing damsels for the sake of a handkerchief. This is a migration period, the Volkerwanderung. Again, practice words before you read them. Remember through the haze of the myth. It is a world where survival is the only virtue and where revenge is not a passion but a duty. Well, this would come under Warguild, right? Warguild. Man, price, Warguild. When Siggy burns her husband alive and walks back into the fire to die with him, she isn't being melodramatic. She's balancing the books. That happens a lot in the Völsunga Saga. I mean, yeah. Once you read the Völsunga Saga, you'll understand why there's never been a movie about the Völsunga Saga, because it's kind of crazy. There's been an opera, kind of. The Dragon and the Curse. But the heart of the saga, the part that has bled into the soil of European consciousness, is the story of Sigurd. Sigurd, the ultimate hero, the Achilles of the North, but with better hair and a sharper sword. He is fostered by Regan, a smith who is actually a dwarf with a serious grudge. Regan talks Sigurd into killing his brother Fafnir, who has turned into a dragon to guard a hoard of cursed gold. Him and his brother Otter are the reason why the ring gets cursed. It is here that we find the motif that Wagner and Tolkien would later steal with both hands, the ring and Varanot. The ring, cursed by the dwarf Andvari, brings death to whoever holds it. Sigurd kills the dragon, stabbing it from a pit dug in the earth, a nasty practical bit of wet work, and tastes the heart blood. Suddenly, the birds are talking to him. They tell him that Regan is planning to betray him, so Sigurd lops off Regan's head, takes the gold, and rides off. Or takes as much as he can carry anyway. It is a perfect, compact myth, but notice the difference between the Norse mind and the modern one. In Tolkien, the ring is an active, sentient evil. In the Völsunga Saga, the ring is just gold. It doesn't make you evil, it just sits there. The evil comes from men. The curse works because men are greedy, vain, and stupid. The gold is merely a catalyst for the inevitable disaster of human nature. Now, the reason why all this happens in the Völsunga Saga is because of Loki. Loki causes this. Loki causes everything. The ring to be cursed, the ring to be stolen. Yes, I suppose it's stolen. Fafnir killing his father and stealing all the gold, and Regan wanting to get the gold, and it's all because of Loki. It's all because of fucking Loki. Loki's responsible for all of the bullshit that happens in this fucking world, I'm telling you. Ooh. The Tragedy of Brynhild. If you've seen the Vikings TV show, there is a character called Brynhild. Aslan, that was her mum, and so this would be the person we're talking about if you've seen that TV show. Lagertha, who is not, I think she's mentioned once in Saxo Grammaticus, not in any of the other sagas of Ragnar Lothbrok. 2 sons and a daughter, and I can't remember what happens to it. I think they both die. The Tragedy of Brynhild. If Sigurd is the hero, Brynhild is the tragedy. She is a Valkyrie, punished by Odin for disobedience, but put to sleep behind a wall of fire. Sigurd wakes her. They fall in love. They pledge their troth. Troth? Was it supposed to be their oath? It should be a very happy ending. But this is a saga, so naturally, it all goes to shit. Through a potion of forgetfulness administered by the sorceress queen, Sigurd forgets Brynhild and marries Gudrun. Then, in a twist of cruelty that would make Shakespeare wince, he is forced to shapeshift into the form of his brother-in-law Gunnar to win Brynhild for him. When Brynhild discovers the deception, that the man she loved not only forgot her but brokered her marriage to a lesser man, her reaction is nuclear. She doesn't just want a divorce, she wants the world to burn. She demands Sigurd's death, laughing when she hears the cry of his widow, before driving a sword into her own belly to join him on a funeral pyre. So they had a kid. I think it was when they first met, they slept together, or was it when he went shapeshifted as Gunnar? Because then they have a kid called Aslan. And that's a whole other thing. Yeah, what happens to her after all of this mess is a whole other thing. Which is why, if I remember right, the death song isn't called anything to do with Ragnar. It's called Kraka or something. Krakamol. Ragnar's death song, Krakamol, because Kraki was her name. That's a name change and all this kind of shit. So let's not get too messed up into that thing, shall we? It is a mess of broken oaths and shattered hearts, and yet there is a strong dignity in it. In the Norse worldview, fate, or weird, we spoke about this, I think, in the last episode, is inescapable. You cannot avoid the doom that is coming for you. The measure of a man or a woman is not whether they win, but whether they face the losing, but how they face the losing. Brynhild and Sigurd lose everything, but they do it with a kind of magnificent, bloody style. Bloody-minded style. The end of the world. The saga grinds on after Sigurd's death, detailing the utter destruction of the Nibelungs clan at the hands of Attila the Hun. It is a slaughterhouse. Hearts are cut out, children are fed to their fathers, and men die laughing in pits of snake pits. Now, if you know the Ragnar Lothbrok story, you know that he died in a snake pit. May well have come from this story, because this story was first, I believe. It ends with the complete extinction of the Völsunga line. There is no restoration of order, no return of the king, just death, silence, and the knowledge that the gold remains, waiting for the next fool to pick it up. Why read this stuff? Why wade through the gore and the incest and the gloom? Because it's honest. The Völsunga Saga doesn't lie to you about the nature of the world. It tells you that life is hard, that friends will betray you, that the gold will not save you, and that in the end the wolf eats the sun. Ragnarok. That even if you are standing in the snake pit with your hands bound, you can still play the harp with your toes and die like a king. Why would you have a harp in a snake pit? We live in an age of soft edges and safety warnings. We could do with a little more of the Völsunga spirit. We could do with remembering that the dragon is always waiting, that the only thing that counts is how steady you hold the sword. Anyway, we slogged through that. We got through it. 20 minutes. The Völsunga Saga. Highly recommend you read. If you can find a copy of this, I highly recommend it because it's just a piece of history. It is, however, the most expensive book I own. 3 figures. 3 figures. And not low 3 figures, by the way. So I covered this book quite a lot, and you can see it's just a little bit off center, which I keep trying to fix, but I don't want to ruin it. But the most accessible one would be the Penguin Classics, would be the most accessible one to get, because obviously it's going to be everywhere. But if you're a fan of Jackson Crawford, do the man a favor, get his copy. I like what he does, and I like his way of thinking, and yeah, I admire the man. What can I say? So yeah, that's the Völsunga Saga. So this video marks a subtle change. It's not just going to be about Beowulf or Anglo-Saxons anymore. We're going to start diving into other things. Oh, get over there. Again, trying to get the cursor into the second monitor. Like I said, this is going to become something that we're probably going to dive into as well. Yeah. So I'll see you in the next video, whenever the hell that happens. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will definitely see you in the next one. Unless you see me first.